S tier? Yeah, I could see or being A, not S, but we'll come back to it. We can move it down to A if we decide there's other stuff that's better. Origin 1? F tier, D tier, C tier, C? I think it's C or D. It's not great, but if I have, like, there's some other options where if I have Origin 1 and those two, I'm going to take Origin 1. Ice Plate Mail. I used to really like Ice Plate Mail, but the more I use it, I feel like it's almost worthless. I almost never pick it anymore. It's fun. A, B, B, D, D, F. I'm more of the D and the F. It's a pretty small, yeah. Yeah, the radius. I mean, it's only really good, like, not really, but it's mostly gonna affect it when it's getting attacked by something else, right? It does hit other stuff in the area, I guess, but reduces their HP regen. Like, what's it good against? It's good against, like, 6 Warlock builds, kind of. Like, maybe against 6 Warlock specifically it can be good. And 6 Warlock is pretty meta right now, but regen and healing is the same. It counts as the same. Translations are so bad. Yeah. I assume this works against 6 Warlock, right? I think just because 6 Warlock is so good right now, we can maybe bump it up a little bit and put it in B tier instead of, like, C or D. I almost never take it, but I guess there's a lot of times where if I have it and 2 other options, I do take it, but... Alright, Blade Bracer. It's also good versus any Lancer build. Yeah, I guess it's good against stuff that does a bunch of repetitive attacks to slow it down. Alright, Blade Bracer. D. There's a fair bit of trash in this tier, so it's one of the better ones. Alright. Yeah, there's quite a bit of trash in the uncommon tier, you're right. D, B, F actually, C. I like Bracer if I'm playing Warriors or Goblins. Or anything that has a lot of healing or a lot of HP, so I like to put it on like Warpwood or like a cave build. On a God of War 2 star. I think it's C tier. It could be B tier, but I think it's C tier. We can come back to it if you guys want, but Gifted Holy Grail. ASA. Wow, really? I don't really like this item that much, but you guys seem to really like it. Okay. Yeah, I get that it recovers 400 HP. It's nice, but it's like a life crystal plus a third of a life crystal, essentially, right? Oh no, does it recover 400 HP for 2 different units or just the carry? So it's 800 HP. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, alright, I can see it being A, maybe S. Maybe you guys can push me into S tier after we get through the rest of the list. If there's not a lot of other stuff in A and S, maybe I'll push it up to S. Good early game, irrelevant late game. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, it can be decent to help you, like, keep a win streak, especially if you're, like, playing Knights or something. I could see this being really good. Alright, or Goblins, like, put this on Ripper. Alright, Sun Chaser Drum. I think Sun Chaser Drum is really good. It's like A. I almost always pick it no matter what I'm playing, if it's one of the 3 options. I think it's either A or S. And you can play Sun Chaser Drum the entire game. You almost never, like, reforge it. At least I don't. I think it's S tier. But I know some people don't like using the buffing allies with Sun Chaser Drum because it forces you to clump too many of your units together, and then it's easier to, like, you know, stun all of them or silence all of them. So there's some downside to playing it, but I think the upside of how much mana it generates for so many units is too good. Alright, Kindness Pendant. Dude, Kindness Pendant low-key wins you the game sometimes if your opponent doesn't play around it. And sometimes in the late game, you're like scouting your opponent's items. You can just like glance over the fact that they have Kindness Pendant. And you notice like they don't have Sorcerer's Chain or they don't have like Sight the Vice. So you're like, okay, I don't need to play Eternity. You're like, I don't need to play Eternity to counter them. And they just have Kindness Pendant. and they disarm your Fallen Witcher for 5 seconds, and it takes too long to transform or doesn't transform at all, and you just lose. Lots of S's, yeah. Dude, I just went through that whole speech like to try to convince you guys it's really good, and everyone was already saying S. All right, well, I'm glad you guys are on the same page then. Cool. All right, turret shield. It's like trying to sell a Ferrari, dude. There's already a line out the door. Stop talking. FD. See, why is turret shield? What's better? Here, answer me this, guys. What's better, turret shield or blade bracer, and why? Because I feel like they do a very similar thing. I guess it's worse because there's no reflect, right? Like this absorbs the damage. Like you don't reflect. You don't this doesn't actually prevent any damage, right? It just does some reflect damage, while this one prevents some damage. So, like, let's say you put this on God of War, and it gets attacked by 5 or 6 units. That's only blocking 150 to 200 damage total, right? That's pretty fucking bad. That's like F tier, right? I'm glad that we're doing this, because I never, like, really, like, did the math in my head to figure out how good some of these items are. That seems just, like, worthless. Like, you should just get a mana crystal. It would be better than this, right? Or not a mana crystal. You should just get a life crystal. A life crystal has more value than this turret shield, right? Counter talisman. Turret shield could block, say, 500 to 600 damage in a fight. How? Has a 100% chance to block 30 damage upon receiving base attacks. Block can't be stacked. And the highest value takes precedence in a calculation. In my mind, that means it can only absorb 1 base attack per unit. Right? Because it can't be stacked. Or is it for every single base attack? It's still pretty bad, though. Like, how often how often is a unit taking more than 5 to 10 base attacks before it dies? Right? Not that often. Unless it's super, super tanky. I still think it's pretty bad. Alright. Counter talisman. Unique passive. Triggered when injured. 50% damage received within 4 seconds will be converted into pure damage to the attacker. Like, I never use counter talisman. Ever. I think it's like D tier. It's like the end of C, beginning of D tier, right? Average crit from 9 sin is like 2,000 damage, so convert it to true damage, one-shot the enemy. Alright, bro. How many 9 assassins are in your lobby? Maybe 1? Are you really picking this item to maybe counter 1 person at the very end of the game when it has some usefulness? It's better than the C tier items? Is it really? I think it's worth it to counter the assassin players out of spite. I don't know, dude. I don't like it, but we can come back to it. Magic blocker. I think we all know where this one's going, right? I think we all know where this one's going. This might be the easiest one of the day. I just hate the... Yeah, like, honestly, if they just changed the art on this item, I might use it more. But the art makes it... It reminds me of a Pokemon trainer card. You guys know what I'm talking about? You know, like, the trainer cards in Pokemon? They'd have, like, these weird, like, arts like this. That's what it reminds me of. I don't know why. Oblivion Staff. I want to see what a few people say before I give my opinion. C, C, B, B. C to B. Guys, we're not gonna argue about Magic Blocker, okay? It's garbage. I'm sorry. I refuse to believe that anyone thinks this is good. It basically says protect 1 ally from 200 magic damage, is what it says. If you're lucky. Unique active. Cast when the enemy is at full mana. All allies within 200 yards. Which is like only the allies right next to it, basically. Gain a shield that can block 200 magical damage for 5 seconds. It maybe protects like a couple of units from 200 magical damage. That's if you even take magical damage from the person you're playing against. This is only good if the person you're playing against does magic damage to the 2 units that you're protecting. And it's only 200 damage. It's almost worthless. I don't know how. I don't know. Why are we arguing about this? Worse than F. Worse than F. Delete it from the game. All right. Oblivion Staff. All right. I saw a lot of C and a lot of B for Oblivion Staff. I think Staff is A tier. I always take it if I'm playing a melee, any kind of base attack build. So if I'm playing Hunter, if I'm playing Beast, if I'm playing Warrior, if I'm playing Assassin, I always take Oblivion Staff. The only way I don't take Oblivion Staff is if I'm playing a mana or magic build, or if I have like Razor Claw, or if I want like, yeah, magic or mana. I'm almost almost always I take Oblivion Staff. But maybe I'm just bad at the game. Maybe my poor ranking of the items is part of my weakness. Oblivion. We're going to put it in A for now. Yeah, plus a lot of items give evasion, guys. Dazzling Crown gives evasion. Shadowblade gives evasion. Spirit Talisman gives evasion. Plus you're seeing... Plus there's, you know, people playing Feathered more often now. At least in the early game. Dwarf Oath. F tier with an asterisk. I think Dwarf Oath is like the second best uncommon item if you're playing 6 Hunter. Only if you're playing 6 Hunter. So how do we put that on the list? It's good in one build and not necessary. Yeah. I think I wouldn't. Some people like argue that you should reforge for this item if you're playing 6 Hunter. I almost never do. Once in a while I do, but if it's offered and I'm playing 6 Hunter, I'm always taking it. I'm like ripping it off the top without even thinking about the other items. Also, it's okay in 6 Beast. If you're going to play 6 Beast with Siren, then it can be pretty good. 6 Beast like Tsunami Siren, and this play Helicopter with it, or play Sniper instead of Tsunami. It only buffs 2 allies. Well, if you play 6 Beasts and you play Siren as your carry, it only needs to buff 1 thing. Siren will literally delete their entire board, or Helicopter will. I'll reforge for 5 of these and make sure all my range characters have it. All right, I think we'll throw it in. I think we should just put it in F tier and then put a note that it's S tier in Hunter. Is that fair? Is that I know that's kind of a cop out to like put it in F tier and then say, oh, but it's also S tier at the same time. But I kind of feel like that's how it is. Wounding Blade, man, I feel like Wounding Blade doesn't do what it's supposed to. Because whenever I try to use it to prevent a unit from healing, they keep healing. It almost never does anything, I feel like. Has anyone like played it and actually had it be useful? Anytime I've ever tried it against like a Lancer or a Warlock build, it doesn't work. Like I used to try to use this against 6 Warlock with Nightmare carry, and it didn't do shit. But I guess it's because Nightmare's ability heals it, right? Not. So it doesn't make a difference. Wounding Blade is when you Demon and Greater. What does that mean? Demon and Greater. I reforge for it versus Warlock 1v1 destroys them. B tier? I think it's this. I think it's very equivalent to Ice Plate Mail, right? Just put it with Ice Plate Mail wherever it goes. Maybe it's slightly better than Ice Plate Mail. Honestly, I think both of these are bad. But I'm taking your guys' opinion into account and putting it at B. Honestly, I think both of these should be like D tier. But I'll take your guys' input and put it in B tier. B is bad. In my mind, B is slightly above average and C is slightly below average. D is greatly below average. F is almost worthless. A is above average, and S is amazing. Willis, if you ask someone to rate you 1 to 10 and they say 6, it means B. Okay, so slightly above average, yeah. That's fine. I'll take it. That's a compliment. Dude, if someone rated me a 6, I'd be a happy guy. Got it. Nothing is average. Exactly. There's no average. The average is this tiny line that doesn't exist. Warhorn. Unique passive. The summon of the carry gains the effect attack speed plus 60%. I think Warhorn is S tier. I think it's S tier on Razorclaw. And only that. C, D, or F. It's super situational. And yeah, it's good on K Prodigy too. Do not cook. Why not? Let this man cook if he wants to cook. He's got the apron on. He's got the chef's hat. He's washed his hands. Let this man cook. You can't put Dwarf in F and then this in S. Exactly. Razorclaw is good in a lot of builds where the sniper item or the Dwarf item is only good in like one build. Razorclaw is good in beasts. It's good in insects. It's good in 6 Hunter. That's 3 different builds you can play with Razorclaw. And this is also good on K Prodigy, which is in a lot of Divinity builds. Or a lot of cave builds. It's at least A, guys. You're not gonna bring me down from at least A. At minimum, this is going in A, man. Wills, are you saying if you have Razorclaw, you pick this over any other item? Yes. If I'm playing Razorclaw, I pick this over. The only thing I would pick over this is Dwarf if I was playing 6 Hunter. Do you ever reforge looking for this item? If I have all like F tier items and I'm playing, like if I have all F and D tier, I might reforge. And if I hit this, then happy days. But I'm not like purposefully aiming for it. It's just like I never reforge for any specific uncommon item because there's too many. The odds of you hitting it are so low. Even after reforging, it's not worth it in my mind. All right, Bloodthirsty Bone Chain. I think I know where Bloodthirsty Bone Chain goes, but I'll hear your guys' arguments before I give my opinion. But I'm pretty confident where I want this one to go. F A C D D S A A B C. I think it's S tier, guys. Maybe you can make an argument that it's A tier. If I have Ripper, or if I'm playing any Divinity build, like it's a little bit worse now because Divinity Priest isn't meta anymore. When Divinity Priest was meta, this was amazing because it was really good on Eclipse. But it's really good on Ripper. It's really good on Sandbound Aegis. It's really good on Thunder Spirit. There's many items you would pick over this one on all these units. The only one I might pick over this is Sunchaser Drum if I was playing a major Divinity build. Or maybe Rewind Orb. So yeah, so maybe it's A tier then. Because I would probably take one of these first. But otherwise I would take this. I think A is fair. I was gonna say S, but now that like I'm presented with the choices, which one would I take? I guess it is slightly worse than the S tier ones in terms of how frequently I would take it. All right, is that all of them? Is that 15? All right. Before we finish this one up, you guys have any changes? No way this is A and then the items that cut down Lifestealer B. I mean, I could put it into B with those. Put all the lifesteal stuff together. Wand is F tier, otherwise it's good. Which one is Wand? Origin Wand? I think Origin Wand should go down to D tier. Maybe. I can see that. C tier, we probably don't have enough stuff in C tier, but counter talisman is C. Okay, yeah, I can see that. See, it probably belongs with Blade Bracer, right? Maybe move Dwarf to D instead of F. I mean, it is worthless unless you're playing it in that one build. We are going to put a note next to... We're going to put a note for the Dwarf item, guys, so we're not going to, like, leave it at that and say it's that bad. We're just going to... We're going to put a note that says that it's basically S tier if you put it into 6 Hunter. Is this one good? Any changes? This one we really evenly distributed all the items through all the tiers. You guys want me to put a note on the horn that it's only good with Razor Claw? I think that might be worth noting. Please note that horn belongs to C. Agree to disagree. Some of y'all haven't hit for 50 damage round 22 by 6 beast dude with refresher horn Razor Claw, and it shows. Exactly. Exactly. Alrighty. Good enough for me, boys. Other items can be held even late game. I don't like horn. Dude, I keep horn in the late game anytime I play Razor Claw in my build. I never reforge it. Unless I have no choice. I always keep it in the late game. Anyway. I'm over it. We're over it. We're moving on. We're going to argue about this for eternity. Well, listen, guys. We can do this. Now that I'm going to have all these lists made, we can go back and, like, do a refresher on them in like, 5 minutes, you know? We can bang out, like, a new list very quickly in the future. So this is their list. They also have Pendant and Sunchaser in S tier. They just moved our top 2 A tier items up to their S tier. I think it's fine if we have those. Yeah. And they have Rewind Orb in A tier instead of S tier. But that's very meta dependent, that item. So, yeah. I think they really like the Divinity, like, Cave Sandbound build based on reading their article. So, like, a lot of their items, I don't know, a lot of their items are based on the builds that they think are good. And a lot of those builds I don't even play that much, so. And that's from 2 months ago, so it's not the same as now. More horn standard? Yeah, they have horn way down at the bottom. What are the items in C named? An RC or their C? Oh, well, we both have 2 of the same ones, right? Counter Talisman, Magic Blocker, Blade Bracer. I mean, the only real giant differences between our 2 lists is they have horn completely tanked, and they have they also don't like the Bloodthirsty Bone Chain ability lifesteal, but I really like Bloodthirsty Bone Chain. I don't want to move it down. I'm happy with where it's at. You think we should move Blade Bracer up to B? I think Blade Bracer and Talisman should be in the same tier. So, either they're both C or both B. I think they're fine. I mean, I like my list. I like our list. I don't want to change anything in ours, personally. I definitely knew I wanted to change our common list based off of reassessing last night or earlier today, but I think our uncommon list is solid. And it's fine. It's fine that my list doesn't match their list. Like I said, like I keep harping on, their list is from 2 months ago, so I'm sure their own list would be different now. And also, just the metas that and our play styles are going to be different, so we're going to have different takes. Plus, I'm pretty sure theirs is just their opinion and not a consensus built list like mine. Mine is obviously my opinion weighs heavily on the list we're making, but I'm taking your guys' opinion in heavily into account.
Hey guys, Will's here. Thank you so much to all of you who made it this far into the video. I really appreciate you guys for checking out my content. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, or if you hated it, go ahead and hit the thumbs down button. Either way, I'm pretty sure it helps the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to let me know how you felt about it. Also, if you guys aren't subscribed already and you like this type of stuff, I would really appreciate your subscription. At my current pace, I'm hoping to hit 1,000 subs by the end of this month. But that means if you guys are new here or you've been watching but you haven't subscribed yet, I'd really appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe button. It definitely motivates me to keep working hard to bring you guys unique content like this. And also it just makes me happy, to be honest. So thank you. I do want to thank my Twitch chat again for helping me build this list and all the other item tier lists that I'll be releasing this week. If you guys haven't already, do check out the other item tier lists. I'll put a link to each of the other 4 tier list videos in the top right hand corner. You guys can click on them there, or you can just go back to my channel and look for the tier list playlists, and it'll have all the tier lists that I've made for the items and all my future tier lists on that playlist. If you guys want to save a copy of these tier lists, like an image, I will, like for a bookmark for later for reference, I'll put a link to all the tier list images in the description below. If you guys like this type of stuff, this type of content, or you want to see something completely different, as long as it relates to auto chess, obviously, leave me a comment, let me know what you want to see. Also, let me know what you guys liked about this video or what you didn't like, what we can change for next time we do these type of tier lists. So I appreciate your guys' feedback. With that being said, guys, thanks again for watching this, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.